And the nightmare difficulty, yeah, I mean, like, we'll see. Nothing's written in the stone yet, but I think the hardest difficulty will still be Nightmare. Maybe we won't call it Nightmare, but we'll see. Would be cool though.
Nice. Well, I wanted to, this was my own personal question. I'll abuse my time here for my own ends. But you actually had touched on this a little bit. You mentioned Bohemia Interactive, which worked on Operation Flashpoint, which you already had gotten some experience with. Now, I know the Czech Republic has kind of exploded to popularity in some sense because of the Kingdom Come series that I believe the combat designer of the first game, I'm not sure what the second game, but I know he worked on Operation Flashpoint. Has that been kind of a rising tide that brings all the ships up at all? Since y'all are right next door, I know you mentioned you actually have a lot closer work ties than people might assume. Is that...
Well, we don't know that many people on the Kingdom Come team. I know Dan Vavra. I've met him a couple of times and talked to him. I have to say, I loved Kingdom Come Deliverance for what the game is, but I hate combat.
Yeah.
I didn't play through the first part because like the combat for me is like a barrier that I cannot go through.
Same.
And like I love the story. I love, like, you know how it feels to play the game. We have Czech Republic and Slovakia has so many castles here. So many castles and ruins and fortresses, and we visit them with families or with school, etc. And walking through them, you always thought like how it could like be in real life, right? And the game does this, and for me it's so valuable for me as an architect or level designer, right? And so, and I also like the I don't know, the atmosphere and the nature. Like I really love the game for what it is in this area, but the combat is something that really stops me from playing it, and I will not play it until they probably do some kind of accessibility options for players.
Good luck. Yeah, that was actually my quibble
Yeah.
too. The last video that I made is actually about that, and I actually brought in some other guy who was just obsessed, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna let you know I just do not enjoy it whatsoever. I also don't get it. So let me bring in somebody else who just loves it. So
It's quick time events for me. It's
tough.
The combat is like, it's like the most VR feel, like looking and feeling combat. That's not in VR. Like it very much is like, it looks like you're playing Blade and Sorcery, where you're like,
exactly.
it's like you got to put weight into it, but like you're not
it's always
really
moving.
doing that. So it's really kind of interesting.
It reminded me kind of For Honor, but a lot slower.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was about...
I actually feel like because of that game would be, it would actually probably work better in VR. I think that game would actually probably be a better game in VR.
But
You never know.
I think
Maybe.
that
Maybe it'll happen.
Maybe
maybe it
will
would
get
have
a...
even more players if there was a combat system that would offer something else. But I have to say, I didn't actually know that the combat system designer was the one on Flashpoint, or if I understood correctly.
I was trying to find his name because it's kind of hard to find it, but there's a little short interview that Tobias does. Tobias, the PR guy. Tobias Stoltz-Zwilling, I think is his name. Sir Toby, you know, the guy with the great mustache. He mentioned in a Clubbit interview that the two were, he's like, you know, you got the realism from the Arma series, you got the gentleman whose name I don't have in front of me right now, but he shows up in that documentary that they made about the Kingdom. If you just put in Kingdom Come documentary, it's the Game-imentary documentary, but you'll see that combat designer in there talking about it.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, apparently he's a
'Cause, like,
carryover from that series.
I love Flashpoint. I love Arma. Arma series not that much, but I play a lot of Reforger now. Like that's like the Cold War era is my favorite, and also obviously a Vietnam War. But I mean, Kingdom Come has a lot of the freedom of Flashpoint and Arma series, etc. And that's what I really value about it. But you know, like combat, yeah, well,
Yep, didn't stop me. Got the second one right here. Ready to go and get my ass kicked.
respect.
Yeah.
I have something for you.
All right, so previous guest question from Dross, developer Alex. If a friend or family member wanted to get into game development, what would you say to them?
Don't.
Don't. Oh gosh.
maybe think twice before doing it professionally. It would be right now. It's much better to do it as a hobby and see if you can come up with a concept that is original and worth the risk and the hurt and the
Crushing disappointment.
Hell on earth.
She disappointment.
Yeah. I mean, if there wasn't the investors that have our backs, like we would be long time. It would be over. But yeah, I mean, think twice and don't get don't borrow money to do it. Yeah, stuff like that.
All right. So, what question do you have for our future guest, which is G-Man Lives and Kirk Collects?
When will you cover Gravelord?
Yeah, great question right there.
I'm spamming your email and I'm watching every video that you put out and I'm like, why not us?
Funny thing is that it would be something that both of them would be very interested in because both of them are big Quake fans. So
yeah, but they're probably overworked or burnt out from the shooters. But I can guarantee that our game, the plans we have for it and the maps, we basically what we want to do. What my plan or my philosophy with the level editor is revive the Quake mapping thing that in a game, give the mappers. Actually, our level editor is based on Trench Broom, on modeling of Trench Broom. But it has a lot of quality of life improvements for the mappers that we want to make contests, right? I'm preparing to give a lecture about level design in a company, and I plan to design courses for level designers in our country, in educational institutions, because I also want to give a lecture on Faculty of Architecture where I studied to show the architects that it's also valid career, virtual architecture or level design, because I went to study architecture because I wasn't able to do anything with games besides programming, right? I wanted to do levels, but architecture studying was the good thing. So we have many plans, and we basically want to, to have sustainable production of levels and a community that is thriving and enjoying each other's production and yeah.
Nice, yeah.
From what I know now, we will have a couple of updates. As I mentioned, level editor, Steam Workshop support, controller support with a weapon wheel in-game, Steam Deck support, and the 1.0 version will go out on consoles, obviously, and we will have multiple map releases throughout the development. And we have maybe something in mind. We don't know how we will do it with the other gaming modes, play modes. We will probably do an edition with an art book and soundtrack.
That sounds nice.
Also, music. I completely forgot about the music. We will have more music tracks in the game. We basically want to have some, the music style is obviously metal.
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
Yeah, and actually one of my friends joined the team in working on this, and his track is heard in the devlogs right now. It's the track Cadaveric Unrest thematically. But yeah, so music we will release a Founders Edition or something like that's our plans, right?
Yeah.
Right for the 1.0. Right now we're just 5 people, right? So it's really hard to manage everything, but yeah, we'll get there.
Sounds like a hell of a roadmap.
In the future, I really enjoy the cards. Do you think in later episodes new tarot cards will be introduced?
That's a good question. I would like there to be multiple cards, but the whole card system is something that we are thinking about right now, what we're going to do with it and how we're going to tweak it. And it deserves really the diligent, what's the word, focus, right? So right now I'm not sure how. I hope there could be a couple of cards, but some of the cards are not really useful outside of the horde levels, and yeah, so this is something we really need to work on. So yeah.